adult. How do you make friends as an adult? The struggles making friends as an adult. There's tons of things you can do. I get the struggle as a guy who wants guy friends. I feel a little weird. Being like, hey man, want to hang out? Or you want to get ice cream or something? Like, but there's tons of different resources. Meetup.com's fantastic. I met friends off that. I joined, not a lot of...
Meetup, whoa, I didn't know that existed.
You didn't know Meetup.com existed?
No.
Oh my god, Meetup.com is fantastic. So I first moved to LA, and it's a transplant city, so you don't know a lot of people. Like, so I wanted to diversify my friend group because I only had like a little bit of friends from film school. So I was like, oh, let me join Meetup.com, and it's this great website where no matter what your interest is, there's like a community group for it. So it's, if it's a running club, they meet at like certain running groups, and they like run from here. If it's like Dungeons and Dragons, if it's volunteer, if it's books, if it's anything, they have it all. Or you can make your own group. And so like I love mixed martial arts. I love UFC. So none of my friends watched it. So I'm like, oh, let me find a UFC club. And sure enough, there was a UFC fight club. And they met at different bars when the pay-per-views were happening. So I went, and it was like a little awkward and whatnot, but I got to meet some like really cool people. Like it was pretty neat. And then there's a volunteer group, which is fantastic. They go every week to a it's kind of like it's a shelter. They house girls, I think 18 and under, who were former who were in the sex trafficking. And they just like hang out with these people and play games and just have a good time, and they get drinks after and stuff like that. So it's amazing. It's really cool. I mean, I know some people think it's creepy or something. It's not Craigslist at all by any means. Just go to the bigger groups. Like don't go to a group if it's like one dude and it's like it's a picture of his feet or something. Don't do that. But that's a good resource, I think, as far as getting to know people. And if you don't have it, I mean, I think, what are your hobbies? Invest in courses, classes, clubs.
Yeah, I feel like classes are a good place to meet people. Like if you do dance classes or, your mixed martial arts classes or stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you got a question?
Yes, so I have a question.
Oh.
So in Search of Soul, hey, I was in a pretty good place mentally when I started my relationship, had my sadness and anxiety in check. But now everything in my life has changed, and I'm sad and anxious all the time, and it's causing me to be a bad partner. In this 6-month period of time, I've gone and lived in another country, moved back, started the process of moving out of my parents, lost a best friend, no longer seeing a therapist, sisters getting married, and have begun the process of looking for a new job. Plus, my mom is Christian, guilting me about my sex life, which causes me to be upset that I get all the blame for something two adults are enjoying. All the stress is causing me to be overly emotional, impatient, and a bad partner. I know it's me causing our problems in an otherwise happy relationship. Should I see a therapist again or break it off so he doesn't eventually break up with me?
Whoa, loaded.
Yeah.
That's I think you did a good job kind of winding down your options. I'm curious how your partner feels. I'm sure there's some guilt there. It's great that you're aware of it.
I think that, that's the biggest thing in a relationship, that a lot of people just aren't self-aware of the harm that they put on their partners. So like, I think that that's like, something that you should acknowledge, that like it's good that you are self-aware, that you feel like you might be causing issues. But I feel like, I think it's one of those things where I'm personally curious about whether or not your partner notices these things. And like, it kind of sounds like maybe it might be helpful to have a conversation with them. Because I just know that sometimes I think we can be more anxious about things than they actually are. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, again, like if you feel like there are issues present, then like, I think that maybe it might be worth like sitting down and like articulating that with your partner and seeing how they respond and are receptive to that. And then, it's so funny about the therapist line, because I'm literally writing a play right now about the difficulties of being a woman of color in therapy when a lot of therapists are white and aren't necessarily trained to deal with trauma of people of color. And so I'm a huge advocate for therapy, but I also understand how therapy can also increase trauma as well if you're not with somebody that maybe is equipped to handle your trauma. So I would say that I think that you should be, I would advocate going back to therapy, but I would also make sure that with that self-awareness, thinking about how this therapist is helping you to deal with your trauma, or are they reinforcing it?